When I woke up this morning and looked outside, it didn't look like this. It was rainy, kind of gloomy and dark. And as I had my coffee and started formulating the ideas of what I was going to say about this record, the sun started to break through and get stronger and stronger until it looks like this. It's absolutely lovely out. And that range of mood struck me as very much like this record. There are a range of moods on here that were composed for a film that was apparently never released. This is the new IMPEX release by John McLaughlin. It's called Music for Abandoned Heights. We'll talk all about this release in just a moment. Before I get started, if you're new and haven't already, please consider subscribing. It's the best way to support what I do, and it's much appreciated. So if you could, hit like, subscribe, and notification. My channel is called The Pressing Matters. It's kind of what I do, my stock and trade. A lot of what I do is comparing pressings of vintage recordings, trying to find the best one. It's an important thing to do, I guess, but it's something that gets a little tiring after a while. It's a release like this that wakes you up to a feeling that you had once before. I think a lot of us have gotten into that trap of searching and buying multiple pressings of the same old record. It's a noble cause, okay? It is a noble cause, but what about that joy of discovering music for the first time that's never been out before? I remember when I was young and I could only afford several albums a year, I chose wisely, and I listened to those albums inside out. I chose things that I knew that I would listen to over and over again, and had the thrill of discovering something without having to make an analysis, without having to compare to some other pressing. It's a joy that I think a lot of us miss. Certainly I missed for several years until I started looking beyond the reissue market and into new music being created. I try to cover new music releases where I can on the channel. We've had some great stuff recently from Bird Box Records, from Analog Tone Factory, and now this. I saw a video on Facebook today. It was John McLaughlin. I had never seen him speak before. I had never seen him currently at this age. And he was excitedly opening this box for this record. He had just gotten the shipment from IMPEX and he was opening it up, and I could see the joy in his face when he saw how beautiful this record came out. It really touched my heart to see him talk about this. I suggest you watch the link. I'll try to find it. I'll try to find it somewhere and leave it in the description box. He's so proud of this release, and I can't blame him. It's just beautiful. The fact that this is coming out now, at this stage in his life, is just cause for celebration. And the fact that IMPEX is the company chosen to do it is just the icing on the cake. What a great marriage. This music was composed for a film that never materialized, as I said. John and the director of that film both had an affinity, an attraction towards a film from Louis Malle. It's called Elevator to the Gallows in English. I'm not going to pronounce the French name, but it's a French film noir from the 50s. And Miles Davis was given carte blanche to create the music for that, and it's very, very special. Audiophiles and music lovers today love that album. John McLaughlin wanted to have the same leeway, and the director of this film agreed and gave John carte blanche to do the music based on dialogue and ideas of scenes that were going to be done. John took this and created a beautiful set of compositions that are here. He's joined by several musicians. Let's see if I can. On this album, you have John McLaughlin on guitar, guitar synth, and programming. Gary Husband is on drums and keyboards. Julian Siegel is on tenor and soprano saxophones. Misha Malov Abado is on acoustic bass. And Etienne Mabape is on electric bass. Together, they create the soundscape for this movie. And what I find really interesting about this is so much film music really doesn't hold up next to not having the images in front of you, but this does. This stands on its own very, very easily. A wonderful selection of music that ranges from I would say upbeat and exciting, like the first track on the album, which is The Scene, beautiful, and dreamy, introspective music, like the second track, Curacao Dream, which was one of my favorites. That just features John on guitars and programming. It's just unbelievably beautiful. Achingly beautiful guitar work, wonderful production value, just lovely, ethereal kind of sound from John McLaughlin. There's a couple tracks like that. One of the other ones is called Nathaniel and Christine. It's on the second side. Each track creates a mood, and I'm not going to go into the analysis of each track. John does that beautifully in the booklet that's included that I'm going to show you here. The sound is wonderful, just wonderful. It was so good. I mean, the sound alone could win you over. But fortunately, this is not one of those albums. It's just an audiophile album about sound. Couldn't be further from that. It is completely musically satisfying. The IMPEX release is a beauty, as we would expect. Robert Sliger did the cover, of course, and he's chosen well. So what looks like to the untrained eye, I would say, a simple triangle or pyramid type of image is anything but simple. It's actually gradations that go up, so from a deep red to a lighter red. They're on a slight angle, which is interesting too. Of course, you have the little triangle at the top suggesting height, to me at least. And then the background is a reverse gradation from dark to light. It's very sophisticated and it looks wonderful. You also have some interesting typography done here where he has what's known as a dropped letter. So Heights has the H drop down. Abandon has the D reaching up. So that's a very nice choice as well. Nice combination of type styles. Of course, the artists are here, the IMPEX logo here. On the back, I love how they've done the titles on the sides for side A and side B. Again, the motif of the triangle is here, reversed with a gold tip here. And in the background is a subtle image that creates a texture. And you would just say, oh, it's a texture, but it's actually more than that. It looks like buildings. So I think these are the buildings in Brooklyn that are referenced in the movie. And it adds a nice feeling to the back here. What does this say here? Ah, okay. I needed to know this. I didn't know. I couldn't see on the package until just now if this was AAA or digital. And I said that in the original take of this video, I said, I don't care what it is because it sounds so wonderful. It's actually digital. It says 2448 digital recording, 2448 digital mix, 2448 digital master, 2448 lacquer cutting. Okay, so with that out of the way, this sounds spectacular. It does not sound like you would imagine a digital recording to sound like in the way that most people think, I have to have analog. Don't think that way. You will miss some gorgeous sounding music. Look at this. This is the interior. Oh my God, it's reflecting everywhere. Each of these photographs of the other artists on the album were taken by John McLaughlin. And each one is tinted. So this one has a red tint, this one has a purple tint, this one has a green tint, and this one has a yellow tint with some blue. And they're all spot varnished. So you can see how they stand out against the matte background. I pointed this out before on the Patricia Barber release that Robert designed. He used that technique and he uses it again here to stunning effect. The combination of the tint, the photographs themselves, of course, the tint and the treatment really make this look extra special. Very, very nice. Let's look at the credits here for a moment. So it's produced by John McLaughlin, co-produced by Jack Stallings and Janera Sorrell. Executive producers A.B. Fawn. Recorded and mixed by George Murphy at East Coast Studios in London, UK. Mastered and lacquer cut by Chris Bellman at Bernie Grumman Mastering in Hollywood. Associate producers Bob Donnelly, who we see on all IMPEX releases. The notes on the booklet that I'm going to show you are by Walter Kolosky and John McLaughlin. The illustrations and design are by Robert Sliger. The photography that you see here is by John McLaughlin. The Brooklyn photos are from Jack Stallings and Adobe Stock. So I'm thinking one of these is a stock photo maybe, and the other on the booklet is actual photo from Jack. So let's look at the booklet. So you have this, like blank negative space with the buildings here from Brooklyn in a sepia tint. And then you have all this wonderful track-by-track analysis by John McLaughlin. And I'm not even going to begin to try to do this for you. This is something that you want to experience for yourself. It's outstanding. Look at that. There's John, an unknown person, I'm not sure who, listening to the playback. You can see the speakers here of this magnificent record. This is a special release, one that deserves the support of the community. Unfortunately, it's extremely beautiful, wonderful musically, compositionally. The playing is superb. The sound is incredible. The pressing by RTI is very fine. Sometimes I think that RTI or whoever, Fidelity, takes extra care with IMPEX pressings because they really do a wonderful job. That's the custom labels. I know the last few releases that IMPEX did were done at Fidelity, and this was at RTI. So I wonder if they're having a little tug of war of quality, which can only benefit all of us, really. This release is well worth supporting. John McLaughlin did a marvelous job composing this music. It sounds just wonderful. The engineering is great. The mastering is wonderful. The pressing is great. Again, a 5-star release from IMPEX. Once again, I'm so pleased with it. It's a great discovery for me to have new music like this to enjoy. And I think you will enjoy it too. Let me know what you think if you've heard this. And until next time, I'm Scott for The Pressing Matters. Have a great day.